Hi, and welcome back to It Figures. Tonight, I am going to bring you a review for Mr. Poopy Butthole. Not one of my favorite characters from Rick and Morty, but I had to get him because of this. He comes with the actual Snowball, and without that packaged in here, probably a whole lot of people would not get Mr. Poopy Butthole either. But let's open him up and take a look at him. Here we go, Mr. Poopy Butthole. Alright, so, yeah, like I said, I probably wouldn't have picked up Mr. Poopy Butthole if it wasn't for the Snowball figure, and that is why everybody's going to pick him up anyway. Now let's get on to the sculpt here. Actually, nothing really terrible about the sculpt. I mean, it looks like the character from the show. Like the Morty figure that I had, the sort of the turquoise green shirt that he has on here is molded plastic, so it's not painted, it's an actual just molded green plastic. And Sculpt, yes, he is a very quirky looking figure, but he, sculpt wise, again, it looks just like the figure from the show, so I can't really say anything about it. I do kind of like his face though. I mean, it looks kind of interesting. Here's the back of the figure, which is pretty plain compared to the front of the figure, which is also kind of plain. I like his expression on his face though. And as for articulation, his head spins around. And I kind of like that. I think it's a cool movement that he has. It would have been interesting if they could have ball jointed his head somehow. But no, it just turns back and forth, which is fine. Shoulders just go up and down. No ball jointed shoulders. Wrists do move. No bending of the knee joints or the feet, just the hips. So he's not as articulated as some of the other ones I've gotten, like Rick and Morty. I mean, if you're a fan of Mr. Poopy Butthole, you're going to like this figure. I'm not that big of a fan, though, and I mean, it's an okay figure. Nothing really wrong with it. Now, here is probably one of the strangest accessories that have ever come with a figure, at least one that I've owned, is a prescription pill bottle. I can't really hold it to show it off, but yeah, this thing is tiny, and if it drops out of his hand, you will probably lose it. It's one of the smallest accessories I have ever seen. I'll put Mr. Poopy Butthole next to his prescription bottle so you can see how small it actually is. And his other accessory is just a single black cane. That's all it is. Now we get to Snowball, and I wouldn't consider this to be an accessory. This is pretty much an extra figure. The figure that everybody wants with Mr. Poopy Butthole. If you watched my first review, you know that this is one of my favorite episodes of Rick and Morty. And of course, just to get Snowball, and you had to buy all these accessories to get a piece of Snowball, which is the reason why I got him, like I said. But this is great. I mean, this is absolutely worth picking up Mr. Poopy Butthole. So let's take a look at Snowball in a little bit more detail here. He is sitting in his chair. He does have the clear blue visor over his head, which is really cool. I love how his feet are hanging like the show. He's just kind of sitting in a chair. Details here are really fantastic. He also has a clear top to the helmet that he's wearing. And so this here was totally worth getting Mr. Poopy Butthole over. So I got his prescription bottle in his hand, and he holds it pretty well actually. Not bad at all. His cane, you have to sort of rest it on the top of his hand because he doesn't really grip it. Alright, so let's bring up the old Figometer and see how Mr. Poopy Butthole stacks up. As for Sculpt, it looks just like the show. Even though there isn't much to him, I can't really take off any points because it looks just like the animated show. Sculpt gets a 5 out of 5. Articulation, not that great. I think his shoulders could have been ball jointed maybe, and maybe give him some knee sockets or elbow sockets. But other than that, I mean, articulation gets a 3 out of 5. Standability, yep, Mr. Poopy Butthole can stand all day long. A 5 out of 5. Now accessories is a tough one. I mean, he has a pill bottle and a cane, but you also have Snowball, which... Would you consider Snowball an accessory? I probably would not, at least with this accessory. The part of Snowball that comes with him is the actual dog of Snowball. It's not really just a piece of the mech suit. I mean, this is an actual figure itself. So, and it's a great figure. Really well sculpted, really cool. So, just Snowball alone would get a 5 out of 5. If I had to judge for just the accessories that he comes with, a pill bottle and a cane, that would end up being a 2 out of 5. And there is a review for Snowball and Mr. Poopy Butthole. I will be bringing you at least 3 more reviews from Rick and Morty for the rest of the week. And if you want to check those out, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can see those reviews and so I can see you next time on It Figures. Alright, so there you go. There is the review for Snowball and Mr. Poopy Pants. Poopy Butthole. I think it was, whatever.